Hello, hello everyone. Thank you for joining. Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to our first session, Scaling AI with MLOps. I'm very happy to let you know that this is our first session where we'll be taking a live use case and help the users to understand what MLOps means, help them understand the fundamental of MLOps, and then we will take one of the use case to deep dive. We'll give you the source code. Of course, the platform, you can access the platform for free. You can go sign up on ketonic.ai, and you can access the source code there. And yeah, we really want everyone to understand how to scale AI, and that's our vision. So today, myself, my name is Prem. I'm joined by my colleague Meghna. Meghna is a data scientist here in Ketonic. She's doing some awesome work. I'm the founder and CEO. Personally, I've been part of many AI implementations, and I felt that there was a huge need for a platform which can help scale AI, because building a model is one thing, but taking that into production and getting value is what is the hard thing, right? So with that, just want to give you a bit of a background about Ketonic. Ketonic, was started 2 years back, and like I said, our whole sole aim is to help organizations scale AI. We recently, the platform was available only in July last year. We already have multiple implementations with large enterprises, but we've also launched a free version of the platform along with in partnership with NextGen. And today, we'll be using that to show you the demonstration, and we also request you to sign up on the platform if you already haven't. Having like I said, we've received multiple awards. We are ISO 27001 company, and today, I myself am allergic to presentations, so I'm not going to spend too much of time on the presentation. We're going to keep it short, but I thought it was important to give a bit of a background on MLOps, what MLOps means, why do you need MLOps, right? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend 10 minutes on that, and then I'm going to hand it over to Meghna. We're going to talk about what is the typical AI model lifecycle and how it looks once you have the MLOps. And then we'll deep dive into an interesting use case where we're going to pull data from Yahoo Finance, get a prediction using Facebook Profit, and then send yourself a Slack message. So a very simple use case. The whole idea is not to help you learn how to build models. The whole idea is to help you understand the automation and the process part of it. And as we progress on the event, being the first one, we'll focus on a simpler use case, but as we progress, we're going to talk about more and more complicated use case in the later session. So please, sign up to this, and it would be good if you can join every week. So we'll also have question and answer session at an appropriate time. And if at all you have any questions, and if you feel that you're going to forget it, feel free to type it. And then when it's a Q&A, we'll pick it up and we'll definitely answer all the questions. And even if you're not able to answer all of them, the team and myself, we're always available. We can have one-to-one session to clarify any questions if required. Yeah. So, having said that, let's talk about, and I'll also request all of you to go on mute, please. So having said that, let's talk about what's MLOps, right? Why is that we need MLOps? And although it's a jargon, but it's becoming more and more important for every enterprise. So let's talk about, see, the fact that all of you are in the call, and the fact that Ketonic exists, and the fact that I left a cozy job where I was making a lot of money and started this, is because AI is the future, right? Organizations are going to spend a lot of money on AI, right? They are hiring, a lot of data scientists. Data scientists are in demand. A lot of you here, either you're a data scientist or you want to be one, right? Or you're a machine learning engineer and data engineer. You are in the right space. You guys are one of the most, sought after, people, and organizations, they are going to spend billions of dollars on AI. And while organizations are spending billions of dollars, and I myself have met a lot of CIOs, and every senior person in the organization, and I'm sure all of you here in the call will agree that AI is going to be very important for every organization to give them a competitive advantage, right? That is given. I think everybody agrees to that. But the problem or the irony is that while organizations agree, right, that AI is important, and it's important for their future, only 6% of them will tell you that they have the right capability. When I say capability, it is not just from a people perspective, right? It is people, process, technology perspective, right? You need to have the right people, but you also need to have the right tools, right process, right understanding, right? That is what most of the CXO level people, they themselves agree that they don't have it, right? And only few of them have actually managed to move some of the models into production, right? Only 15% of them. And these are the big companies who can afford, right? The big banks, the big telcos, the Googles of the world, the Facebooks of the world. And unfortunately, even the guys who managed to move the models into production have taken long, and they have many people, right, supporting the model, right? So what it means is that because the cost of delivering AI goes up, not every use case becomes feasible, and low hanging, the use cases which have high value, are being delivered, but the low, there are many other use cases, they don't stack up because it becomes very expensive to implement AI, right? So there's a lot of challenges. I'm not going to go through it, but let me talk about, see, these organizations have done digital transformation. They have survived the last 15, 20 years. They have done digitization, but why is that they're struggling with AI, right? There must be something unique about AI, which is, basically, which is causing trouble to them, and because of which they are not able to scale AI, right? So let's talk about those three or four key factors, which I think will be important for you to understand. So the first biggest perception about AI is all about ML model and data scientists. So every CXO level or every enterprise thinks, I will hire three data scientists, I will give them some data, they will build a model, I'll put that into production, and then boom, right? But in reality, what happens is, the data scientist will build the model, right? You give them the offline data. Yes, the model will be accurate. The business will be very impressed, right? But that's a prototype, right? That is, and most of the enterprises are very good at doing that, right? They are actually super good at doing that, right? Most of the prototypes or proof of concepts are successful, but when you try to move that model into production, right, you realize that there are a lot of challenges, right? One, the data which was given offline to data scientist, right, that needs to be pulled real time, near real time, right? The data which needs to be pulled real time, near real time. One is that, but apart from that, you have many other things which you need to do, right? You need to connect to the data. You need to train the model. You need to retrain the model. You need to serve the model. You need to have APIs wrapped on top of the model. So there are a lot of other things which come into the picture, which organizations don't realize. And what happens is they end up, the cost of it goes up, and then most of the models become museum piece. They end up into the museum, or they just get thrown into the dump, right? So that's the biggest perception problem, that AI is about model and data scientists, but in reality it is a lot more, right? And the second problem is, every organization thinks they have the right tools, they have DevOps processes, they have right software to manage code, right? But code and model or AI is different, right? Code is deterministic in the sense, you give an input to a code, it will give you output even after 5 years. If I install Windows 8 on your laptop, new laptop, it will work. Even if I install, mainframe onto a new, supercomputer, it will still work, right? But unfortunately, models are function of code and data. Models are trained on that particular data. At that point of time, they are good. Post-COVID, all the forecasting model would have gone for a toss, right? So it is very important to train the model, retrain the model. So if you have a facial recognition model which you have trained for Australia, if you try to implement in India, it won't work. Even in Australia, right, in other states, it won't work. So it is important to train the model, retrain the model, but have the right tools in place which can do that, which typically, the DevOps or the tools which are currently managing the code are unable to do that. Right. So AI, is a function of code and data. And because AI is function of code and data, you need data engineers to bring in, the data to the data scientists. You need data scientists to build the model. You need machine learning engineers to convert that model into, pipelines, right? And then you need DevOps to manage that, IT operations to manage that, and then you need business to validate that. What it means is that AI requires everybody coming together, and if you don't have an appropriate system or a platform to bring them together, it is going to be a big nightmare, right? Just to organize this event, we had to put in so much of effort. Imagine, you building a model and taking it to production for a large organization. It is going to be very hard, right? And the other good news is that this space is very evolving, right? So firstly, there are too many silos. Each silo has their own tool. Data engineering team has their own tool. They have data warehouse, data lake. Machine learning team has their own tool, and each tool doesn't talk to each other. And this whole field is evolving, right? There's a new framework or new open source tool coming in, and data scientists love that, right? It's every time there's a new model, data scientist Meghna gets excited. She wants to use it. She wants to improve the model. The business gets excited. But then how do we ensure that the new models or new things which are coming are following the process. Security is important. How do we ensure that IT operations and the architects who are looking at the risk, cyber security, and the processes, are at the same time kept happy, right? So that's where, in the recent past, when we started, MLOps was not really popular, but Google and few other companies have actually made it popular. And MLOps is nothing but what DevOps did to code, right? You brought the development team and the operations team together, right? That is DevOps, right? MLOps is basically bringing your ML development team, your data engineers, data scientists, machine learning engineers together, along with your, operations team, which is MLOps. So MLOps is the future, right? So this is from a process perspective, you need to bring them together, but you also need to give them a tool on which, everybody comes and does their part, right? Data engineer does their part, data scientist does their part, machine learning engineer does that part. So there is an urgent requirement for an end-to-end platform which can cater to the end-to-end life cycle of, machine learning, which Meghna is going to talk about. But at the same time, the platform, because see, the future, everybody's realized data is important. They need to own the data. They're very possessive about data, but they also realize that they need to own the AI. You can't give the data to somebody else to get inference. You have to build your own AI. You need to have your own platform so that you can get the inference for your data, right? And at the same time, you can't have multiple platforms, one for video, one for you. It has to be a single platform which can cater to any kind of use case and any kind of data. That's where we come in, right? So Ketonic is an MLOps platform, and again, like I said, we have an individual version of the platform free for all of you to try, right? It would be good to get your feedback. And what we've done is essentially we don't want to change the way data scientists work, right? So data scientists can spin themselves for R. If, they can code in the language of their choice. They can bring in framework of their choice. We have pre-built connectors, and like I said, we built this over last 2 years with 30, 40 people, but then we've not built this from scratch, right? We've taken the best of the open source tools. We are like buffet of buffet, right? We have the best of Google, we have Qflow pipeline, right? We have best of Selden, we have Facebook Prophet. So we basically brought all the best open source tools together, blueprinted the entire machine learning and built a UI on top of it and secured it using Keycloak, right? So that enterprise security is taken care and put this on Kubernetes. So our platform is Kubernetes native, which means it's scalable. It can scale up and down. So when you're working from 9 to 6, the platform scales up, and then in the evening when data scientists, assuming that a lot of you go back at 6, which is a rare thing now, will go down, right? So scalability is built in. Even when you're training, if you want a bigger machine, you can self-service spin yourself. So what used to take months and months for data scientists to get, they're now able to do it through self-service, right? And we're going to talk about it. So what it means is that as a data scientist, you're able to experiment quicker. As a machine learning engineer, you're able to take the work from data scientist, convert that into pipeline, and put the model into production. You're able to monitor that reproducibility. You're able to reproduce not only model, because tomorrow if the organization gets sued, you need to have the ability to reproduce the model, reproduce the data features. So that capability is there. And also because all these personas have to work together and be data engineer or data scientist, business, and all of them don't understand coding, right? So our platform caters to code to no code to low code, right? And you can move from code. So once the data scientist has built the model, rest of them will be able to visualize through drag and drop capability. And again, this capability is available in the individual plan, which is free. Which means that not only data scientists, but everybody is now able to experiment, play around, give feedback to machine learning, which is really democratizing AI, right? That's what we are really looking at. What it means is that as a data scientist, you're able to do more. You have complete control of your infrastructure. You can spin yourself a TensorFlow 40 CPU machine in a matter of few minutes, train it, and after 2 hours, bring it down. Your project manager will be very happy because you're containing the cost. But most importantly, for an organization, you're able to deploy models faster, which means that you're able to get value quicker, right? So that's the platform. Happy to answer any questions later, but now I'm going to hand it over to Meghna, who's going to run through the AI lifecycle and do a demo. Yeah, over to you, Meghna, and thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope everybody can see my screen. Now, before I jump into platform and demo any use case, I want to put you into some process flow that we follow, that AI life cycle, how it would be. So in AI lifecycle, the first thing that a data scientist do is that they get some offline data, that is sample data from any source system, and on that data we perform different sort of experimentation and prototyping. That is like cleaning the data, pre-processing the data, creating features out of it, all feature engineering process, and modeling that using that data, training some models and evaluating the models. So this sort of experimentation is done, and then that source code is put into some source repository. All this experimentation part is put into some source repository so that you can maintain versioning of the code here. And now once the data scientist has performed all sort of experimentation and decided like what would be the best experiment in that, that is handed over to ML engineer. Now ML engineer taking the source code will create pipelines out of it. So that pipelines will be a step-by-step process which have all the experimentation is divided into different steps in this and created a pipeline view in that. Or now when this pipeline is created, the actual data is collected from the source system. Maybe data will be sitting in different systems. You can collect data from different systems, and that is collected through using connectors. We have different connectors to different systems like ServiceNow. You can connect to any database, MySQL, Oracle, or you can connect to SAP HANA or any SAP basis, and all databases you can connect using connectors that Ketonic provides to you. Already pre-built connectors are available. You can connect to that source system, get the data, and also here you can put it into destination system and maintain different versions of data. So versioning of code and versioning of data is also provided. Now the data which is actual data which is taken from that source system is fed to the pipeline, and the pipeline is executed, and then you do the execution of the pipeline. You will get some models that are performing better on this data. So that model which you feel that has performed better from model evaluation, you put that model into model registry. Here different versions of model can be controlled. Here you can put any versions of model here and maintain the all model versioning in as well. Now once model is put into model registry, you take that model and perform inference on that. That means you predict what are your future predictions will be using that model. That predictions you can consume in dashboards. You can put it into some database, or you can put it into any dashboards, apps, any API request you want to perform on that. Everything you can do from Ketonic platform. Once the model inference is generated, you want to productionize this one. Once this is productionized, the model prediction will be happening daily. So once the model prediction happens daily, you want to know how the model is performing. That you can't go and do manually. So we provide a dashboard where you can monitor the model performance. Model performance is monitored through dashboard. Whenever you feel that model performance has deteriorated, you can trigger the retraining process again. When you trigger that, it will collect new data from the source system and again train the models and register the best model into the model registry. And on that best model, you can again perform the inference. So this cyclic process will happen automatically. You can trigger and schedule the pipeline according to your model performance. So this is here you can see, as Prem said, all model versioning, code versioning, and also uh, data versioning. That and also the automated model monitoring and triggering of the model. The same thing, this will be shown you in the Ketonic platform demo. Yeah, this is the Ketonic platform. Once you log in, you could see this dashboard, workspace, apps, and a file manager, everything here. This app store is a marketplace where you can find all use cases that are implemented in Ketonic platform. There are many use cases available here. You can log into Ketonic platform. The sign up link is provided to you in the chat now. You can log in and check. You have lots of use cases, and you can click on any of the use case and just run that use case on Ketonic platform and get exposed to this platform. Now today in this we have like many categories like banking, in insurance, finance, and all sort of different category we have use cases. So you can select any category which you want to, and you can find the use cases there. Today, as Prem said, will be presenting about Yahoo stock prediction. This is the Yahoo stock price prediction use case that we are going to present today. In this use case, what we'll be doing is take Yahoo Finance data. Yahoo will provide stocks data for around 3 to 4 years of data is present with Yahoo. That data will be extracting, and from out of that, we'll be predicting what would be our stock price for tomorrow for every ticker. You can predict that for 1 week, predict that for 1 month. You can do it however you want, how many number of days you want to. And from that result that we obtain, we will be sending that message in the Slack. You can send that message daily, or you want to send it weekly, you can send it weekly. You can schedule that accordingly whenever you want to send. So that is the use case about what we'll be seeing. You can see all description about the app here. You can go and check that in the platform. And the code is available in once you click on launch notebook. Once you click on launch notebook, this will take you to GitHub. You can clone this repository uh, and work on this. So how you can clone this repository and work on that is in Ketonic platform. To work on any of this use case, you need a workspace to work on. So thus that workspace you can create here. Go to workspace in the Ketonic platform here. Once this comes up, like this is already created workspace. Since you can only create one workspace in free version, this create workspace is disabled. I'll show you how that create workspace look like. This is how, once you click on create workspace, this is how it looks. You can give some name, select environment, whatever you want to choose. Jupyter Lab, if you're comfortable with Visual Code, you can choose anything. Yeah, this use case is implemented in Jupyter Lab now, so I'm choosing Jupyter Lab. And here image, you have different sort of image. That means this is a Docker image, which will provide you some pre-built packages are available in this workspace. So this base image will give you Ketonic pipeline and some Python packages, and Pandas, NumPy, this type of basic packages will be provided to you in Ketonic base. So you can choose Ketonic base for this use case. And then CPU 1 and 2, you have different options. You can choose any one of that. And then just click on create workspace. Then that workspace will be created like this. You can see that here. And now here you can see that workspace, you can connect, you can delete this workspace and all sort of information about the workspace. Once you click on connect, it will connect you to the workspace. Before we go into workspace, I want to show you the Ketonic file manager. This Ketonic file manager, here you have a private storage and shared storage. Why I'm showing this now? Because like this storage helps you to put in your data. If you have any data, you can put it here and read from here. So like before we go into use case, you can put your data here. Now in this private storage, you can this is available only for you. That means my user ID. So this is private to me. So other users will have. So this will be secured. No other user can see your uh, private bucket. The shared storage is shared among the complete cluster. So whenever you put any data in the storage, it will be visible to this complete users of this complete cluster. So when you put data, you be careful on like which bucket you put in. And you can put your data here, create folders, upload data from some other system. You can do all sort of this thing. And also uh, you can also put the same thing data into shared bucket as well. Now Yahoo, since I'm taking data from Yahoo Finance directly, I haven't put any data here, but I'm using this one to put my results in this bucket. My obtained results I am putting into this buckets and my models. So for that I'm using this. How I'm accessing this, I'll be showing you that in the Jupyter Lab. So once you open this Jupyter Lab, you can see the launcher here available. You can create a notebook from here directly, or you can create text file, markdown file. You can open terminal and access anything. So firstly, I said you right, once you click on launch notebook, you will be popping up with the GitHub link. So now to the, have to clone this repository. To clone this repository, you can just go and copy this repository link, and just from the terminal, you can write git clone and the repository will be here. Now you can see I already cloned that repository. I have it here. Now I'm presenting Yahoo stock prediction. So now I have went to Yahoo stock price prediction use case. And here you can see there are two notebooks available, one for modeling and one for inference. So the modeling notebooks look like this. You can see we have installed libraries. I've said you the image has some pre-built packages available here. These packages are not available, so I have installed and import the packages, and then comes the pipeline parameters. So you have to passing some parameters that pipeline require. That means some input parameters that are required. These are the parameters here. The period, how many years of data I want to fetch, I'm passing that. And also this path specifies me where I want to put my model output, and the model object which I want to store, where in which location I want to store. I've said you right from I'm storing that in the file manager. I'm storing it in my private bucket. So that's why I have I'm using here KFS private as my mount point, and that Yahoo stock is my folder in that I want to put. So this is the one, and next comes the ticker. In Yahoo Finance dataset, there are something called tickers, and you can also call it as symbols. That tickers and symbols will say you for which stock you are trying to fetch the data. And I have also provided the link in the here from where you can get list of all the symbols or tickers you can find here, and for that ticker you can do modeling as well. Now here I have for demo I have used Tesla ticker. uh, Tesla ticker I'm using here. For this Tesla ticker I have fetched the data. This is the data points of Yahoo prediction. It has a date and what is the opening price of the stock, what is the higher what is a higher price in that day, and what is a lower price in that day, what is a closing price adjacent to closing price, and also it specifies volume, that is number of stocks that they have taken in that particular period of time. So that all data is provided here, and you can see like we have done statistics, some exploratory analysis on data comparing how low and low high end like is varying in the day, and all that of exploratory is done. And then splitting data, I have split data, like taken 3 months of data in testing and rest of the data in the training part, and trained FB profit model. So this performance also you can check here, FB profit model. This performance can be further improved by doing some sort of hyperparameter tuning. You can check our enterprise version. We have automated hyperparameter tuning there. You can use that to uh, do hyperparameter tuning. Automated hyperparameter tuning Ketonic also provides. So you can improve that results from that. Now this notebook is ready. That I have said you, all sort of experimentation that is done by a data scientist is done in this notebook, and this notebook is put into a repository. Now the ML engineer has to create pipelines out of this notebooks. So how the pipelines are created? Pipelines are created from Ketonic pipeline deployment. Here, if you see, you have an option called Ketonic pipeline deployment panel in the left side. Just click on that and enable. Once you click on enable, in every step here, you can see every cell, you can see an edit button is available here in the right side. When you click on that edit button, it will give you option to tag pipeline matrices, parameter steps, and all. So these are all import statements. So I have tagged it as import, and these are my pipeline parameters. So I have tagged it as pipeline parameters, and this is one of my step. So if I have to give a step, then I will give a pipeline step and give it as a name. Load data I have given. and I can add some dependencies on that. This load data is dependent only on pipeline parameters and it is dependent on import. But for every step by default, pipeline parameters and import are by default dependent. So you don't have to add pipeline parameters on this. If you see the exploratory data analysis, it is dependent on load data. That means only when you load data, you do exploratory. Otherwise, you should not do. So after load data, exploratory should happen. So you can add dependency here of load data. Even you can add multiple dependencies as well. I can here in the modeling part, I have added multiple dependencies of exploratory load data and evaluation. Everything I have added. So you can add like that multiple dependencies here also. So this dependency based on how you write the code and what are the variables that are coming from the previous step to this step. So based on that dependency, you can add the dependency. This way you create all your steps and you can also see here what are the steps that you have created here in the property inspector. You can see what are all the steps that you have created. And once you create this pipeline steps, click on advanced settings. Now you have to run this pipeline. So to run this pipeline, you need to do some settings here. So go to advanced settings and give some Docker image. This same Docker image you can use for any use cases that you build in the Ketonic platform. This will work for everything. But if any package is not available in this and you are using, you have to write in installation for that. Suppose FB Profit and all this are not available in this uh, Docker, so I am installing them all. So this is the image you can use for any of them. And then since I am putting my data into file manager, I have to give all the information where I want to put. So that is a class storage class name. In the backend, we have the storage class name. You can use this one, and you choose read write many option. Use the existing volume, and as I've said you, I am using here KFS private mount point. So I need to specify here KFS private mount point, and this is my storage bucket name. You can see here. This is my storage bucket name. So I have to give that storage bucket name here and just click on create and run, compile and run. It will run you the pipeline. You can see the validation name, update, yeah, pipeline running pipeline view. You can click on view there. It will directly open you this pipeline. Now this pipeline is still started. It will run. It will take some time. So considering time, I'll show you the pipeline which have already run for you. This is in the left side in the Ketonic platform, you can find jobs. In the jobs, you can see runs, recurring runs, and experiment. Runs here will show you all list of runs here, and recurring runs will show you if you have scheduled any recurring runs, so you can see the list here. In the experiments, you can see the list of experiments. Now I have created experiment, so in that Yahoo Finance is my experiment. I can go to that experiment. You can see here, this is still in running stage. This pipeline which we have run now, it's still in running stage. It has started running. You can see it is running now. And the pipelines which I have run previously are this one. I'll show you this. This is the pipeline. Once it is completed, it's running, it will show you this as a pipeline. Here you can see in the graph, it is showing the graphical representation of the pipeline that you have implemented. Here the Kale Marshall volume, this step will create a volume for every step. For every step, the different volume will be created. In that volume, it will run. So this will create volume for this steps. So you can see this step is connected to every other step in the pipeline. And now you have added dependency of load data on exploratory data. That's why you can see the dependency here. So this will run after this. You can also view the simple view of this graph, or you can see that all the dependencies have you added. This all graph lines will be shown based on your dependencies that way. And once you click on any step here, you can see what is happening in that step. You can see input and output. What is the input parameters that you have passed and what is the output? That means what is the metadata of that particular step and all sort of information. And if you have print any output out in this particular step, you can see that in the visualization. You can also see graphs and everything in the visualization. You can just see it in the full screen as well. So that output that you print in every step is shown in the visualization, and in details you can see when that has started running, when that is and finished running, how much time it has taken, if it is successfully completed or not, name and everything, every details you can see. And here in the volume, what is the volume allocated to this particular step, that information you can see, and all live logs, all logs you can track here. Any error you can easily track and find out what the issue is. And pod information, particular pod that is created to this, and every step is run in a single pod, and every pod will be scalable. So one, if there is a higher computation in particular pod, then the pod will scale up based on the computation in that particular step. If there is less computation, then it will scale down. So based on your computation in that particular step, this pod will scale up and down. So that is all information for every step you can see here. And also run outputs, you can see every step outputs are available here. Every step output is available here. You can see the outputs of every step. You can also do it full screen and have the view of it. And config here will show you all the configurations related to this pipeline, when it is created, when started, ended, what are the parameters that you have passed. So you can check here like for which ticker you have executed this pipeline. So that way this pipeline will be shown. Now this training pipeline you have run, and suppose you want to productionize this, and every monthly once you want to fetch the data, and suppose you want to run the pipeline. In that way you can go here, click on create run button available in the experiment, click on create run, choose that already run pipeline which you have run. Choose a pipeline. Now I'm choosing modeling pipeline here, Yahoo stock modeling, and give some name. I have given some name. You can add any description here, and you can choose any experiment. If you want to have new experiment, you can choose another experiment here. And if you want to just run it once, run it once, that means you want to run it now one time, then you can choose this one. Otherwise, if you want to do recurringly, I've said, right, suppose every month I want to uh, take data from Yahoo Finance and train the model again. So I'm feeling like every 1 month data will be changing. So I want to run training pipeline once in a month. So I'm taking that and running. And here also you can directly, once you run a pipeline for one ticker, you can use the same pipeline for uh, running for other tickers as well. Here I have run that pipeline first for Tesla, but now I want to do it for Google. So I can change that ticker, and here the same private storage I want to use. I want to fetch this time 2 years of data instead of 1 year data. And in the same storage location I want to store. In this way, I can schedule this run and just click on start. It will create a new recurring run here. You can see the recurring run one is active here. Recurring run config one is active here. I can click on manage and see this all the information about this recurring run. For Google ticker, I have run now, and once in every month, this will run. And you can also see that same thing in the recurring runs. You can see list of recurring runs. This is one of the recurring run that is available. So this is for modeling. Now the model is trained, and also the model is available in the file manager. I've said you like in file manager, I'm storing all the models. So these are all the models that I have experimented, I've run. So you can see Tesla model is available here now. Now Tesla model is trained. Now you want to do prediction on that model and find out the actual prediction for next 1 week or next 5 days. So that you can do it from Yahoo Stock Inference notebook that we have here. It is implemented in the same way. Just we are loading the model and doing the prediction for next 5 days. I have passed here 5 days, and also I'm sending this results to uh, Slack. So I can pass Slack token and Slack channel here. So that way I can pass that complete predictions into Slack. So that way, in the same way as I've said you can create pipeline. You can just click on enable here, pipeline steps here, and just click on create and compile run. So this the same way it will run you the inference pipeline. That means it will fetch load the model, and it will I'll show you the pre-run pipeline here. For Yahoo Finance inference, this is a pipeline. You can load model and do future predictions and send alert to Slack. So you can see here future predictions also in the visualization, what predictions are it is giving. You can see this. I have given 5 days. So from yesterday I have run. So yesterday to 18 to 22nd, it has given. So this, and I am sending this message to Slack. You can see here in the Slack, this are the results that have come into Slack. So you can send a Slack message. Otherwise, you can also see this results in file manager as well. In file manager also, for every ticker this is available. So one more thing is that for sure to run any inference on the any ticker. Suppose you for Tesla I want to run an inference, though, so it is compulsory that you should have modeling on that. That means you should first, for every ticker, if new ticker you want to perform prediction, before that you should compulsory do modeling part. Only when the model is available for that ticker, only then you can do inference on that. So for every ticker that you want to do inference, please perform modeling on that and then do inference on that. And this pipeline is available here. In the same way, you can also schedule this inference part. So before we go to scheduling of this part, any questions still here? Uh, any questions still here before we go schedule inference part? Okay. Any questions, please drop in the chat box. You can also find sign up link in the chat box. You can sign up to Ketonic platform and like try parallelly with me. And here you can again schedule inference pipeline. Now inference, I want to do it daily. So I want my daily prediction. So I'm taking inference pipeline here, giving it some name. And I want to do recurring run, and I want once in day. And for while I'm doing once in day, I want to specify when it should start and when I want to specify when it should start. So I want daily 6 in the morning. So I can give the time to give 6 in the morning. So it will give me every day 6 in the morning. I don't want to give end time, just start time 6 in the morning. So it will start at 6 o'clock in the morning and give for that day for prediction. Next day again it will execute at 6 in the morning. So in the same way, I can pass which channel I want to get, your channel name and path where you want to specify how many days you want to predict. I want to predict for 1 week. Daily, I want to get prediction for 1 week. So, or you can specify a 1 week and specify 1 day, and you can specify however you want. And give some token here. I'll give a token here and just click on this. Then this will send you this. Now again you have one more recurring schedule here, that is inference. This will be running daily, and this will send you message to the Slack token, Slack channel provided. So daily it will run and provide a message in the Slack. So that way you continuously get your stock value daily, and you can see there. So you can schedule and you don't have to come and do anything again here in that way. And the monitoring of this and all, you can see it in the enterprise version, the model that you have deployed, how you can monitor and all that. That will not be given provided in the free version. You can see it in the enterprise version. And hyper, as I've said, you have parameter tuning and all. Any questions? Yeah, this ends the end-to-end demo of this platform for Yahoo Finance use case. You can sign up to the platform. Link is provided in the chat, and also you can see the link here. Yeah, any questions? Yeah, we can answer now.
Okay, so Meghna, looks like there's no question, so very well explained there. And see, the art of possibility. So the whole idea is to help you understand how MLOps works, and help you understand the arts of possibility. So Meghna build the Yahoo prediction. You can do that on Bitcoin. There's a lot of things we could do. And what we showed you today is just one example, right? We have over 120 use cases with code in the marketplace. So all you have to do is sign up on the app.ketonic or on the ketonic.ai, and then you can actually explore all the use cases, because a good data scientist is not good at just modeling. He's very good at understanding the business problem, right? That's the key to excel as a data scientist. So I urge you all to sign up, go to the marketplace, understand various use cases, understand what AI means to business, play around with that. And if you build something unique, just let us know. We'll give you an opportunity to come and present here as well. So with that, looks like there's no questions. So I'll let all of you go now. Give you 15 minutes back. Thanks a lot. And again, we'll record record. This has been recorded. We'll share this with all of you. You can refer it, and at any given point of time, in app dot once you log into the platform in the chat, you can always reach out to us if you have any questions. Until next week, have a safe week, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Yeah, and thank you, Meghna, and thanks everyone for taking time out. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Bye bye. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks a lot.
Prem and Meghna. It was a good session.